Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sean Carlson of Blackjack 98 Enterprises. Today's date is March the 2nd of 2023. I am in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I am reading to you from a piece of paper of everything that I've written in front of me. This video is about the teardown and then rebuild of an E-ton Beamer 3 scooter. It is a 50 cubic centimeter single-cylinder gasoline engine. I had bought this secondhand from a guy in Surrey for $200. He told me that there was no papers on it and there was a whole bunch of loose parts on it. He said the electrical worked on it, the lights went, and everything works. There was no battery on it, and after getting it, I analyzed and inspected on it, and I found a lot of missing parts. There was like no housing screws on it whatsoever. So there's screws that are missing. The paint job was questionable because it looks like the original color was yellow and somebody may have spray painted it black. And aside from the missing parts in the carburetor, which looked unusually brand new, that was a kind of a tip-off to you that maybe I just bought something that was stolen, or there's a lien on it, or it's been repossessed. So I phoned the Vancouver Police. I gave them the VIN number of the scooter the other day, and they tell me that the scooter is clean. There is nothing in their database system that is stolen or anything that they need to know about. So therefore, I can now proceed to go ahead with the engine rebuild, the full complete teardown and rebuild of the scooter. So, when it comes to the teardown and rebuild, I will be stripping apart the engine. I will be testing the electrical. I will be putting fluids into it, new fluids. I'll be tearing apart the transmission, the chain gears, which turn the wheels, not to mention replacing the parts. I will be ordering brand spanking new parts, and I will be testing parts. So that scooter should be ready to go in a few months' time. I will be putting a lot of money into it. And therefore, every video that I put on YouTube will be marked by the days that I have done it. So the video that you're about to watch is day 1. Day 2 will come on another date, and so on and so forth whenever it is that I have time. So, thank you for watching this video, and like and subscribe for other videos that I am doing. Have a good day. Okay, everybody, so we're going to do kind of an examination of how we're going to take this apart. What I'm going to start with, after looking at everything, I'm going to start with this oil reservoir. This here looks like it's the meter that checks the oil level, which is on one of these here. That red light probably comes on because of this here. So this gets disconnected, and this is pretty loose. The only thing that's holding it up is this screw right here. It looks like there was another screw right there that held this firmly. Those seem to be the only 2 screws holding it in. Now, because that's a reservoir, that means there is a tube on the bottom. So that tube is right here. This one here, which is connected. We're going to disconnect it up here, and then we're going to take that out. So that's our number 1. The number 2 will be the exhaust. The exhaust is being held by a bolt there, and the 2 bolts at the bottom, which are connected to the exhaust port of the motor. This comes off. This part here looks like it's loose, and the only thing that's holding it together is this screw right here. And it's probably this screw right here too. But yeah, there is a lot of missing screws on here. It's not a big deal. I do not know what the functionality of this part is, but it's going to be removed. The next thing we are going to do is the gas tank. The gas tank is being held by screws right here, right here, right there, and right there. This is the meter which tells you how full your gas tank is, which is right there. Okay, so this is going to be disconnected because it's a fuel tank. We're going to shut the fuel off, and we're going to remove this part right here. We're going to pinch this line. This line probably needs to be replaced because, as I can already tell, it's stiff. So this line eventually is going to be replaced with a much more flexible line that doesn't break when it's wiggling around. And then this gas tank is going to come out, and then I'm going to have a better look at the arrangement for this motor, which probably has something to do with the chain and stuff. So I'm going to flip this bike around. That carburetor, we're going to have a closer look at it too. There's going to be a separate video with regards to that carburetor. So 1, 2, 3, 4 things are going to come off. As I just noticed, this here is just a bike rest for your passenger to put his feet up. This is not a kickstart of any sort. This is just a rest. Now, that is all that I can see right away when I look at this, so let me get started. Okay everybody, we got the carburetor out. The air filter I just took off from right there. So what that tells me is this is the intake of the air. This hooks up to the motor. So after taking this off, this tube here hooks up to the gas tank. The fuel comes in. This here tube, I haven't really seen where that goes to yet, but this here is the throttle. These are long screws, by the way. We're going to look at the throttle assembly because I just took that apart. This is the choke assembly. Okay, so this is the left handlebar. These are small screws. This is the right handlebar. These are long screws. So let's look at this together. Throttle area. Choke. Okay? Now, this tube is a bleeder tube. So by undoing this screw, you can bleed out the gas in here and you can clean this out and whatever. Now we're gonna just do a pan look at everything here. There's the markings right there I just noticed for DM. Those seem to be the only other markings. Oh, there's some more right here. There's right there. And looks like there are these two screws. This one and this one are the idle jet screws. You know what? I'm going to get a rebuild kit for this. We're going to take this apart. We're going to look at it. Just so you all have an idea of what it looks like. Okay. So let's go to the part where I took off the throttle. Just here. This is the throttle assembly. I just took those two long screws out, and as you can see, there is a monster spring in action here. So if I compress this together, the end of that cable can come out and slide through this opening here, and that will release the cable and the spring. So this part here is attached to that here, the adjusting valve, adjusting screw housing, or whatever that's called. But I'm pretty sure once I get that cable released, this all can come loose and I can put that back together on the carburetor. This is a needle. So this is what lets the gas in and out by going up or down, right? Okay. We're just gonna look carefully at the gasket here. This was what was on the carburetor between this part and no other markings. Okay, I've got everything labeled, and I went and put tape on everything so that way I don't get confused. This is the throttle handlebar. I forgot to put right. On this one here, it is the choke handlebar. This is the choke one. So this is how that looks. See? Oh, you know what? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the choke on and off. There we go. Oh yeah. There we go. Choke on, choke off. Choke on, choke off. Okay. Now on the other one, I'm gonna suck in the cable. So what this tells me, if these two are working like that, just from the handlebars, the line This line and this line is not stuck in any way, but I will take those out and I will look at them and I will clean them out and flush them and grease them. Right now I'm going to take this apart and put it back onto the carburetor, and I'm going to probably do the same thing with this one here too. Alright, so as I had just said, I got the gas tank off, I got the carburetor off, and I've got the oil reservoir off, and I just put that somewhere and I can't remember where, but anyhow, you know what I noticed about this gas tank? These screws here. This is what was holding the gas tank on. As you can see, these two are factory because these washers do not come off, but these two are not factory and these washers don't even match. However, these two nuts almost look the same as this, but they're not quite the same, but they're the same threads. They all fit into the same hole. So that is whoever put this together and took this apart, put these two in, and these probably lost these two and put them in. And anyways, there is not this gas tank. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flush it out with water and check for leaks. And the next video is going to be this carburetor. I'm going to strip that apart, and I'm losing daylight. I can only do what I can do. Now let's have a look at the underside of this bike. This is where the gas tank was. And if we look any further, I got the throttle cables out, I got the oil reservoir out. This motor, I gotta flip it around, but it looks like to me this bolt here, right here, is right there holding this galvanized piece in, which is what this motor is sitting, which is holding it up. And this part I forgot to take out. So I got a lot of other disconnecting with the screws and whatnot. The spark plug, you know what? I can take this out. I can take this off. When I look at this, there is an unusual amount of zip ties keeping everything together. I don't know why that is, but, well, you know what? I'm going to have to inspect this entire thing, replace it if necessary, and this spark plug is loose. What do you know? The spark plug's loose. Be careful when you take a spark plug out because it could leak. Most people go to try to spray gas in there, fuel injector cleaner, or they put oil in there. So, let's look at the numbers. Okay, this is the number for the spark plug that I need. Do not assume that your lawnmower spark plug will work into this. You could screw it up. The reason being is because this shaft here sticks into your cylinder, and if it sticks out too far, the piston, which is going up and down, up and down, up and down, it's going to hit this part of your spark plug. And when that happens, and your motor's not turning over, and you're trying to turn it over, the starter's turning the flywheel or whatever, the piston is hitting this. There is no rewind on your engine, so that way the piston pulls out. It's always one direction. So if your piston is turning and it hits your spark plug and it's not going any further, there's a good possibility that you have the wrong spark plug in your engine. So just because I took this out of this scooter does not mean that this is the right one. I'm going to look at the manual. I'm going to see what it says about the right spark plug, and we're going to see if this is correct. And then this is day number 1 of tear down and rebuild. So day number 2 will come at another day, another sunny day when I can get out here and look at this. Whenever you are tearing down and rebuilding, put rags under where you are working just in case there's gas and oil that is leaking. And having said that, everybody, this is day 1 over and out.